His plan, which is coming to fruition, is he wanted the heist to make the Empire more fascist.
Yes.
So that the people become more oppressed.
Yeah.
And thus push them more to rebellion, which is harsh.
Yeah.
It's a strategy.
Yes, it is.
Hail, Internet! It's Paul. It's Matt. The Dork Lords. We're here talking about Andor, Season 1, Episodes 7 through 9. We open Episode 7 with the recently fired Cyril living in his mom's house. He's preparing for a job interview arranged by his uncle Harlow. His mother scolds him for his high collar that he's chosen for his interview suit. She says that the high collar gives off the vibe of, quote, "Look at me, I don't believe in myself. I am desperate for approval."
Right? I think I specified the high collar in the last time we were talking, and now you can see all those Empire people. They got the high collars.
Right. We cut to this Empire headquarters. Everyone's got the high collar, which is a great little joke. I mean, among other things, it suggests that everyone in the Empire is desperate for approval.
Yeah.
So Cyril also sees a news story about the Aldhani heist. We end Episode 9 with Cassian imprisoned on Narkina 5. It's a work prisoners till they die labor camp. Maybe building parts for the Death Star? I don't know. Anyway, building.
There's a lot of speculation, and who knows?
Who knows exactly?
Paperweights.
That's right. These giant paperweights. We have a lot of paper. We're not digital here in the Empire. Cassian has just convinced the prisoner in charge of his section, Snoke, that they need to escape. That's right. Who knew this series was also about Snoke's backstory? Boo, boo, boo. All right, maybe not, but Gollum for sure. Gollum, a.k.a. Andy Serkis, is now finally ready to plot against his jailers, and that's where we end Episode 9. Paul?
Yes?
What'd you think of Episodes 7 through 9?
Of course, still stellar. I love how everything's ramping up. I thought it was possible that they would break out in this 9th episode, but they did not. So this next 3-episode arc that they're going to have, which thankfully we'll be able to focus on episode by episode, is really going to, be key. I mean, maybe they'll break out in the next episode, and then you'll just deal with the aftermath the way these past 3 episodes are dealing with the aftermath of the heist. But still, it's I like how everything's building up, and if after all this machinations to break out that Andor Cassian is going through, if he's not motivated to become a rebel, it's like
Gotcha.
Maybe just sit down with this manifesto and that'll do it.
That's right. He breaks out. He's like, "Well, back to the beach planet."
Yeah.
Oh man, you didn't learn anything. As you just mentioned, I'll say this trilogy of episodes didn't feel like a contained story, as kind of was advertised. Like each 3 episodes will be its own story. As you said, you wouldn't end this story with the prisoners deciding to escape. You would end it with the escape or an escape attempt, I would assume. Which I assume is forthcoming, as you mentioned. I don't know, it may not even be episode 10. We'll see, anyway. Because it's so early in the process, right? They've just decided, okay, let's figure this out.
True, they might want to have everything culminate, right? Because, they have a lot of stuff happening with, Miro, like, getting closer to Cassian after Bix, Bix's interrogation and everything. And, so it makes it, important for Luthen exactly what his experience is going to be. So yeah, they definitely could be like even further having another trilogy where it's like at the end everything is happening, like at the end of like The Godfather or something.
And I guess, based on Miro's torture of Bix, I think we can scratch her off of the "I'm going to join the rebellion" eventually.
I was thinking that it's like, somebody who can easily tolerate torture is not like, maybe I could become.
This empire just has it all wrong. I've got a better way to be fascist. Here we go. So I think
I'll be a fascist rebel.
Yeah. And Cyril isn't looking like a...
he's coming off as like Mr. Creep, So maybe if I wasn't such a creep, I could, join the rebels. Or he'd be a creep for the rebels.
So my prediction that one of them might join the rebellion is
Wow.
If it's anybody, it's Cyril. And I'm like, he is really awkward.
Yes.
Almost more like a Javert type at this point, right? Like he's just chasing Cassian because Cassian ruined his life, essentially, right?
Yeah,
if it hadn't been for Cassian and all the stuff that happened on Ferris, my life would have been different. But now I blame him. That could be the way that's going. It just, I don't know.
I can't help you interrogate that supposition because I've suppressed all my memory of Leyland Mizrahi.
Okay.
Sort of it's like Javar, who? Jahu? Where?
Who? What? Oh, wow. Okay. All right. I actually like the play, maybe not so much the movie. Javert, a.k.a. Captain Crunch. Cyril and his mom, just the relationship there.
Yes.
It does bring up a question, which I think they're deliberately mystifying it. Who is Uncle Harlow? Is Uncle Harlow someone that we're supposed to know eventually? Like a reveal. Oh, Uncle Harlow was Palpatine. I don't know, whatever. He's somebody that's connected, and he's somewhere higher up in the Empire, it feels like. But anyway.
Yeah, but I mean, to get him what job? There's got to be... There are middle managers galore in the Empire.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
I don't think, they've already done the Mon Mothma and,
Vel, right.
Yeah. That's enough.
Yes, agreed. You don't want to, right, making the universe really small again. Don't do that, so that's good. Yeah, in fact, so we learned that Vel is Mon Mothma's cousin.
We have a slight impression of what the politics around same-sex attraction are.
Oh, great point. Yeah. Hey, you should get a husband.
Yeah.
So eventually, through Vel, I guess Cassian would have a contact with Mon Mothma, which would probably be useful for him, the eventual Cassian we come to know, to have. But, I guess once he convinces Vel not to kill him. But also that means that Mon Mothma is in danger of being found out through Vel. Maybe more so than she realizes, right? In this moment, she's like,
well, she's got two people, right? Because there's Luthen, who has a contact, has a connection to her and her.
But the whole, the Empire, a la Miro and company, are now zeroed in on the Aldhani raid.
Yeah.
And so, as they start to pull those pieces together, I could imagine Vel ends up leading back to Mon Mothma. But we'll see. At some point, Mon Mothma has to, stop pretending and hide.
Yeah,
and so I
was glad I rewatched today the meeting between Luthen and Saw to really understand what was going on, because it was a nice scene, and it was clear that he did want him to work with other people, but when he started spouting off all those groups and everything, I was like, wait, what does this mean? And they're just groups that he doesn't agree with. He's a purist, and I guess he's an anarchist. At least that's the impression that Luthen wants. Yeah, and it's like, you just should be against oppression. That's all. Work with whoever, just stop being such a snooty booty, and, just work against oppression.
Forest for the trees. You're missing that there's a giant enemy, and it's easier to take that enemy out if we're cooperating.
But it does look like this plan is not going to work,
right? Because so now the Empire knows about it,
right? Hopefully, but I don't have a lot of good feeling for Luthen surviving.
Oh, good point. I mean, he's certainly not around by the time we get to Rogue One or Episode 4. You'd think he would be part of the rebellion if he was still around. So, the odds of him surviving start to go down quite a bit. You're right. This show is very good at showing the minute-by-minute danger these people are in.
Yes.
Like, literally, any moment they could say the wrong thing and you're gone.
Yeah.
Just the pressure that they're under, like, ah!
Yeah, which is, why you can understand Luthen thinking, if we turn up the pressure, that'll push everybody to not think, well, maybe we can survive this. Like, well, if we keep making it worse, you're going to start realizing, no, it's hard to survive.
Right. So his plan, which is coming to fruition, is he wanted the heist to make the Empire more fascist.
Yes.
So that the people become more oppressed.
Yeah.
And thus push them more to rebellion, which is harsh.
Yeah.
It's a strategy.
Yes, it is. It does reveal, it's not like you're like, there were people in there saying, maybe we should be nicer. We haven't seen anybody do that. Maybe we shouldn't be as oppressive to people. It's like their plan is, oppression works. Maybe we don't do it all the way at first, but it's like it's on the whiteboard. More oppression.
More oppression. And we do see that from the interrogation scene of Bix, from life in this prison to these ISB meetings, that the Empire is a terrible institution that is becoming more terrible as Luthen was kind of hoping they'd be. Careful what you wish for, but No. He that's what he wants. You have to give again stellar performance by the torturer. Dr. Gorst really loves his work. He's proud of himself. He's and he's got good advice for Bix, about being concerned about being strapped in. Don't worry. That's not for you.
No problem. Yeah. That's to help you.
Yeah.
And they've got the kinks out. Don't worry. It was pretty bad before, but now
it's great. It's perfect.
Now it's great. Yeah.
It's kind of similar to what we see with Saw Gerrera in Rogue One when he finds that mind-reading octopus thing.
Sure.
Borg Gullet or whatever his name is that he uses to interrogate Bodhi in Rogue One. So it's like, this might make you crazy, but we'll also find out information. And that's kind of what this is. It's like, these voices might make you crazy. Probably will. That's how they end up torturing Bix successfully.
Yes.
But we get to see Saw Gerrera kind of in his pre-mechanized Darth Vader-ish form that we see in Rogue One.
Yes.
This would also, though, be after he has rescued the young Jyn Erso. He's done all that already.
Okay.
That's already happened.
All right.
We do see some more scenes from him. Like, I think he's in the Clone Wars. I think he's in Rebels as well. So we see an animated version of him.
Yeah, not always played apparently by Forrest Whitaker.
Right. We didn't mention this in our last recap, just because we were talking about 6 episodes at once. Cassian's backstory is that as a child on Kenari, he lived in a scavenger culture, kind of off the grid.
Yeah.
While investigating a crashed ship for parts, his group is forced to kill an Imperial pilot. Well, right, they're going to go get parts. They're like, oh, look, there's a ship that crashed.
Scavenging for parts, yes.
Yeah.
The investigating makes it seem more intellectual.
More intellectual, okay, fine. It is cool that they all have these little, bits of gear.
Yes.
Which suggests that this planet has seen a few crashes.
Yeah. Well, they say about, that it was, something happened on that planet that killed a lot of people. So those were the kids that had survived.
Right, there was
a mining
the mining colony. Yeah.
Right, exactly.
So anyways, yes, they go check out this ship and are forced kind of in self-defense to kill an Imperial pilot.
Yes.
Then we see some off-world scavengers, Marva and her husband, show up, rescue the Cassian before his people are going to get wiped out by the Empire. So they flee and adopt Cassian, and that's kind of we then cut to current time. She's still his adopted mom, Marva.
Yes, that he calls mom.
Right, and the husband was hung in the street by stormtroopers on Ferris.
Yeah.
So we see then after this heist has happened in episode 6, Cassian returns to Ferris. He's like, "Look, I got money. Let's just go to the beach planet, and it'll be great." And Marva's like, "No, I'm going to stay, and I'm going to fight the good fight."
Yeah, well, it's just heartbreaking because she's excited by the thing that he just did, and he doesn't even take credit for it because he doesn't want to encourage her.
Right, or that he doesn't want her to know because it might be bad for her to know.
Yeah, but, being with him is more dangerous than her merely knowing.
Yeah. Also, Marva, Aunt Petunia from the Harry Potter series.
Okay, yes. There you go.
What's interesting there, though, is that the Empire is now quite aware of her, and they're monitoring her carefully. Because they're like, eventually, the son will contact the mother.
Yes.
which could very well be what happens.
Yeah, could be. Well, it's funny. It does seem like he's got to go back there, and I feel like what's going to happen is Marva and Bix are going to probably sacrifice themselves because they want Cassian to get away.
And Brasso, put him in there too. Right, because we do find out, there's another thing, is when when Cassian returns to Ferris, he learns that, like, people are pissed at him.
Yes.
It's like, you brought the Empire here. Damn it. I'm not wanted.
Yeah.
I will leave.
And I've heard some people cast a little, when they're talking about Cassian on Ferris and his reputation there, that, he was certainly people interaction with him, and he owed people money. But the fact that he paid it off, I think, says what kind of character he has. When he played off that dude in the beginning, it wasn't so much that he didn't want to pay the guy back. It's more that, don't hassle me and don't try to threaten me. You'll get your money when I can give it to you.
He does pay his debts. He's a Lannister in that way. and the way he reacts when he could take the entire stolen shipment back in episode 6, but he doesn't. He's like, look, I'm going to take my share and leave you the rest.
Yes.
But now he's a hunted man by Vel and Cinta because he knows Luthen and he's a loose end, which is true.
Yes.
The Empire is tracking him down for that reason.
Yeah.
It's like,
it was interesting how it played out, right? Because when Luthen's assistant, what's her name?
Yeah, it's like Leia. It's Clea.
Yeah. When Clay meets with Vel, she says, hey, contacting people and receiving the contacts, both are potentially exposing, And so when they cut off Bix, when she's trying to contact them, that leads to Bix getting captured. But it could have led to Luthen getting captured too.
No, it's right. It's like, it's smart, but it's also like...
Yeah, it's ruthless.
Harsh light of day kind of thing,
Yeah, so they cut her off, and they were wise to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, if she just chilled, they may not have discovered what was going on.
That's true. I mean, they did find the communication device through the shop owner, so they may have found that anyway.
I think it may have been like, wait, what's going on? We see this communication now, as opposed to we've been monitoring this the whole time. Right.
The show is pointing out some of these ruthless tactics that are required in order to function as an espionage organization.
Yeah.
So it's not really making a judgment about it. Almost, it's like, look.
I think it's making a judgment about it.
Yeah. Okay. It's making
it's just not explicit in the judgment, because I've heard some people talk about how it's like, you see, she's in there, advocating against stupidity. You might feel like, wow,
she being Miro.
Yeah, Miro is such a good, so competent and charismatic that in a way you might feel yourself. I heard some people in a way that they had to fight to root for her.
Yeah, because she's in some ways bucking the trend of this ISB.
Yes.
So she's making people who tend to be jerks rethink their thoughts, but it's not making them be less jerky. It's making them be more jerky.
Well, it's interesting too, because you think about it. Like, one of the things he says is like, everybody looking after their own area and not exchanging information is not, it's a problem, because the rebellion, they just work around that. It's like, oh, good, that's how you see things. Okay, if we compartmentalize stuff, then people aren't going to notice what we're doing. And so she's like, oh, okay, let's adapt to fit this. And
interesting. Now that actually ties into episode 9 with the prison scene, in which Cassian says, "No one is listening."
Yes. He says
it really loudly.
Yeah, they wait till a situation gets to the point where they can't control it, and then they kill 100 people.
Right. Yes. Yeah. Oof, boy, that life in that prison.
Yeah, because obviously, with that many people there, they need methods like that to keep everybody under control. So it'll be, you hear they're already starting to figure things out, trying to, and it's great that, at that end there, that last line that, is given, like, okay, well, this is the people. You've now convinced me.
Part of the reason that the place is starting to foment a revolution is because in some ways the Empire is so cheap that they just use prisoners for the labor. Like not just working, but like, look, you prisoner are going to oversee these prisoners. You prisoner are going to be the medic for the prisoners. And so anyway, so like in other words, the medic's like, yeah, actually, this is what happened. A guy who was supposedly released showed up on back in a different level, and people were like, wait, he's not released at all. They just moved him a level, and then they had to kill everyone. So now you'll see Kenoi becomes Caesar. Right, yes, and Gollum, and Snoke.
But he's going to lead a rebellion of all his apes. It's
going to be pretty awesome to see, frankly. No, I'll say this. So the Niamos, so that's the beach planet that Cassian tries to escape to.
Yes.
I guess I wasn't completely thrilled with that scene.
Why?
This is the French Riviera planet. Small point at first, right? When we're introduced to it, it's the first time that the music felt jarring to me.
Okay.
Like the Niamos theme, I thought it felt more like a, I don't know, 80s house music as opposed to like tropical beach paradise. It was just, so that's a small point, but it was just that is the first time the music
I didn't notice it. I'll go back to listen to it, but it didn't rub me the wrong way.
My main issue with the Niamos scene, I think, is Cassian's behavior.
Okay.
So the point of this scene is always just like, we see nowhere is safe. Hey, I'll go where they aren't. Like, nope. The police force is predictably fascist. Got it. It's terrible everywhere.
Yes.
And if I was in Cassian's place, I'd probably do exactly what Cassian did. I loudly protest my innocence. I'm just a tourist. It wasn't me.
Yes.
But I feel like Cassian's supposed to be smarter than me. Like, he's a spy. He can blend in.
But he's not a spy yet.
Yeah, isn't he, though?
No, he's not.
He's been keeping alive for his entire life.
He's been keeping alive, but he hasn't been doing it as being a spy. He's been doing it as being a scavenger.
He successfully pulled off the Aldani heist.
He was put into that situation. It's him who decided he could do it, but he wasn't doing things like that before.
All right, I just thought he kind of came undone a little too quickly. Maybe it's just that the Cassian is not quite up to full Cassian yet.
Yeah, no, he's not. And two, he's like, wait a minute now, I'm playing by the rules. I mean, you'd think he'd be smarter because he's got all this money and he should be chill about it. Like a smarter spy would have said, okay, you know what, something's happening, I'm just going to sit. But no, he thinks, I can go about my business, I can't do this. And this is building the reason why he becomes a spy. So he has not been a spy. You would think, but it's clearly establishing that this is before he becomes a spy.
So you would agree that Rogue One Cassian, if in that situation, that would be odd for him to react that way?
Oh, sure.
Okay. I guess I was associating, hey, I did the Aldani raid, I'm kind of all in on this in a way. Obviously,
but he wasn't,
But he wasn't, okay. That he has that experience that he would be smart enough to...
No, he still is thinking like, look, I just need to find my corner to be away from this. I need to be away. And so when he's interrogated like this, like, look, no, I'm minding my own business. I'm not involved with this. And so he thinks he can, he can talk his way out of it.
We get him to see he gets a run-in with a security droid, which obviously is going to foreshadow his rewiring of K2SO, which certainly will happen in the show.
That scene was so beautiful because it's like he really has no reason to stop him at all. None. It's like, why are you running? I'm not running. Look, I'm not out of breath. I am not running. Yeah, you bet you're not running. Like, oh my God.
Yeah, that's just the...
It's very Orwellian, the way he treats him. Like, it's possible, they didn't say it outright, but that the way it's designed is get too many people onto that prison thing because they keep killing everybody that works there. Right. So they had to probably feed a lot of bodies into that.
Round them up.
It's better just round people up and
We were talking about things that the rebellion has to do that are somewhat unsavory. We see that Mon Mothma, in order to get money, is going to have to meet with this. It sounds like a mobster, essentially.
Right. Yes.
This banker that she's like, oh, not that guy. So we'll see how that plays out. But in other words, that they're going to have to combine with some of the elements of the underworld in order to thrive.
Yeah.
So episode 9, we've got the brutal interrogation scene, but most of it is the brutal life in this prison thing.
Yeah.
And seeing it from the point of view of Cassian battling depression. That first day when he's standing there watching the people work, oh my God, this is hell, essentially. I'm in hell.
Yeah. I mean, at first, I think he was sort of getting used to the situation. Well, he wasn't like that guy that killed himself, you know.
Right, and I kind of thought that they were showing how somebody might be that way.
Oh yeah,
in this environment, like,
right,
oh,
right. Yeah,
I'll
but
take the short way.
Cassian, he's somebody who fights to live. So
yeah, well, he doesn't jump onto the electrified floor when it's lit.
Yeah.
Which seems to be the suicide of choice.
Yeah.
This bit where they're trying to keep the old man functional so
until
that
he gets out, but he's not going to get out.
Yeah. Yeah, they're like, he's only got 41 shifts left, or 40 shifts. Like, does he?
Yeah.
And then he has a stroke, and so they euthanize him.
It's interesting, too, when Kino is starting to buckle. He hears from his the same guy in the next group telling him, they just killed them all.
Yeah.
Because there was rumors that they're, he's like, okay, that was enough to shake him and get him mad at his people. Because it's like, look, here, we don't want that happening over here, but oh my God, that's something that's on their list.
Yeah. In other words, he's been pushed far enough, he being Kino, that it's like, oh, there is no way out of this. Like, it's not like, oh, if I just keep my unit running smoothly, everything will go great. No. I think there's an implication that they'll just kill him anyway. Like, even if they didn't run afoul of anything, it's like,
yeah. He's like, nobody's getting out, and he said next week, it's supposed to get worse or whatever.
Yeah. So, we've come to this crisis point.
I wonder if it's possible that they were sort of consigned to do a task, and now that they're coming to the end of that task, maybe?
These aren't people, they're just parts, so get rid of the parts. So brutal stuff, and we now come to the final 3 episodes, where, again, we're going to kind of come to the end of this first year of Cassian in the 5 years leading up to the events of Rogue One. So, I assume he'll get out of prison. So, we'll see what happens.
Unless it's like, oh, I didn't realize that was a prison we were watching in Rogue One.
Yeah, right. Oh, my God.
What a luxurious prison.
So, we'll be back talking about episode 10. And also, there's a little movie called Namor dropping. See what I did there? Okay, no. I'm a huge Namor fan. I'll talk about that when we recap the movie. But Wakanda Forever coming out. I think we're going to have to chat about that as well. So, thank you, Paul, as always, sir.
Sure.
And we'll talk to everybody next time. Bye.